Moving on to our top international story this hour, we are following some disturbing news out of the tech world, as this week the Confederation of British Industry, or CBI, issued a warning about the future of microchips in the workplace. According to The Guardian, a British company has already fitted 150 implants in the UK alone. Biotech's chips, according to its website, quote, store a range of encrypted personal data from bank account details and passwords to medical data or Bitcoin wallet details. The device is implanted between the thumb and forefinger, and depending on which kit you choose, costs between $90 and just over $330. The CBI, which represents 140 trade associations and 190,000 businesses, told The Guardian, quote, while technology is changing the way we work, this makes for distinctly uncomfortable reading. Firms should be concentrating on rather more immediate priorities and focusing on engaging their employees. The organization is concerned that employers could eventually force workers to be chipped, the way you may chip your pets, for example. The Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress in the UK added, quote, microchipping would give bosses even more power and control over their workers. There are obvious risks involved, and employers must not brush them aside or pressure staff into being chipped. Now, you might be thinking such concerns sound hyperbolic, but you would actually be sadly mistaken. Believe it or not, companies have already started microchipping employees. For example, a cafeteria kiosk producer in River Falls, Wisconsin, chipped employees last year.
There are governments that run central banks that they were one of the first ones to call us to say, we've got to control our employees, and we need to have certain access levels, and we can't have that compromise, and they saw that as a solution. They need that. They need those controls.
Joining us now with the future of microchipping in question is former UK Member of Parliament George Galloway. All right, George, how difficult is it really to remember banking information? I mean, do you think average people really want these chips?
Well, I'm sure not. I mean, beasts are branded and slaves are enchained. This is, I suppose, the next stage. The wage slave will be microchipped. And the employer, imagine Amazon, just for an example, other brands are available, employing 500,000 people, every one of them one day perhaps microchipped. So the company will not be able just to employ you at rock bottom rates. It will know how long you went to the toilet for electronically. I might even know what you did there. It is grotesque, it is obscene, it is, on the face of it, ridiculous, except, as you've just pointed out, it's already happening. And even here in Britain, it's happening. It's happening in the United States. It's happening in the tech industries already. And of course, it's all very well saying it's voluntary, but when you're a wage slave, voluntary doesn't mean much. If it's get this job and sign up for the chip, or don't get the job, well, people will take the chip.
What concerns do you have about this technology, and are you confident in the British government's ability to regulate these chips?
I wouldn't be confident in the British government's ability to regulate fish and chips, never mind microchips. And indeed, the British government might be gone by the end of the week. No, I am not at all confident. But it is come to something when the CBI, which is the employers, the bosses' organisation, are expressing their anxiety and unease about this move. The trade union opposition to it will be absolute, but we know from recent times that what starts out as resolute opposition incrementally becomes the prevailing orthodoxy, and it would be a dystopian Aldous Huxley future if that's how we all ended up, chipped by our employer.
I want to ask you one more question unrelated to this issue, though, because we did just get breaking news that a Brexit draft has been reached between British and EU negotiators. What are you hearing in London, and what are your initial thoughts on this development?
Well, the Cabinet are being brought in one by one to the Prime Minister's office to go through this text, which seems to suggest that she's not confident of facing them as a collective. And we must assume if the text is as disappointing as many think it will be, from either side of the argument, that there will be ministerial resignations as a result. Whatever the Cabinet decides, Parliament is very unlikely to agree this text, and therefore we either plunge out of the European Union without any agreement at all,